show, but we still have 90 minutes left to go in this special edition with Vito Bratta, guitarist from White Lion, joining us in the studio, playing records, telling stories, and trying to get you guys caught up on the last 15 years of what Vito has been up to. And I know so many of you want to jump on the line, and we'll try to rifle through some calls here as quick as possible. We'll go to Vito's hometown of Staten Island, Laureen. Hi, Laureen.
Hi, Vito. How are you?
Laureen.
Do you know?
I know Laureen. Hi, Laureen.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. So what made you pop out of the woodwork?
Eddie Trunk. I've been saying no to Eddie Trunk for years now, and I just can't do it anymore.
He came to my house around Christmas, and as he left, I go, "Would you just do the show?" And he said, "You know what?" He goes, "I will." And then this record came out, which you didn't even know about, and I told you about it.
Well, I always said I don't want to come on when I have nothing to promote. I mean, this is not a new album. This is not, anything like that. I wish it was. But I always told you, I said, I have nothing to promote. But
do you have any plans on
having something to promote?
Or?
Do I have any plans?
Yeah, we're getting a band together or anything like that.
Let's just. I mean, the will is there. It's like I want to do it, but I can't sit here and say, yeah, I'm going to do it next week and all that stuff. There's a part of me that has to get over the fact that I still feel like it's White Lion or nothing. I went through that for a lot of years, where I just felt like this loyalty to this entity and said, I'm forever going to be the guy in White Lion, no matter what band I do. I said, why don't I just do White Lion and just get it over with?
Well, look, I think a lot of people would love that, myself included, but I also don't think that you should limit yourself to that. In other words, your status as a guitar player transcended that whole scene and that whole era. So you could easily do something else as well, even if it was instrumental or with a different band, in addition to White Lion.
Like I
people
said,
are going to listen to it because they want to hear you play, regardless of what it is.
I appreciate all the compliments, and I'm
not blowing smoke. I mean, a lot of people feel that way.
Well, it's like I said, that was part of keeping me back. Was I felt like it had to be White Lion or nothing else, and then there's realization that if that doesn't happen, I do something else. I'm going to jump in. I got a friend of mine, who's pushing me now to come and jam with him and just to see how it feels.
Yeah.
But I need some time, with just a guitar in my hand and just see what I can do again.
Well, this is a big step for you, just coming here and doing this and on that road, I would think.
It's a start.
Yeah.
But, like I said, I owe you big time.
Nah, you don't owe me anything. What are you kidding me?
Please.
Brian in Edison, New Jersey, you're on with Vito Bratta.
Thanks, Lorraine, wherever you went.
Yeah, Lorraine, thanks.
Hey, Eddie. Hey, Vito.
Who's this?
Brian in Edison.
Brian, how are you?
Hey, how you doing? I have a question. I've heard a lot of people make comparisons to Eddie Van Halen. I was wondering what you thought about that, and what were some of your biggest influences and inspirations to play guitar?
Well, I mean, obviously the Van Halen thing is a compliment because he's Eddie Van Halen. And it's funny because I've heard it from Eddie Van Halen himself.
There's actually on the White Lion Escape from Brooklyn video, there's actually a shot of you and Eddie Van Halen at a picnic table or something, right?
Actually, they wouldn't let his manager wouldn't let him be in it.
But, well, I have the outtake.
Oh, you do?
Because I know it exists. I've seen it.
Yeah,
I thought it was on my cut of it. I have the special cut.
Okay, I don't have that. But the way I remember it was this guy, we were sharing rehearsal studios. Van Halen was rehearsing for their tour, and we were rehearsing for our tour. And we were all hanging out in the parking lot, talking cars and stuff. Everybody had their cars outside. And some guy came up with a piece of a guitar, and he comes up to me, and he's just, you're the greatest. I mean, you're the greatest. And he's thinking the whole time that I'm Eddie Van Halen. And I think I remember turning to him and I pointed to Eddie and I said, well, how about that guy? And he's like, who's that? And I said, that's a guy from White Lion. He's like, oh, he's all right too. And we were gonna have that, but
that footage of that exists. I have it somewhere. I've seen it.
Every time that I've been hung out with Eddie Van Halen. Not that we've hung out, but right. The times that I've run into him, I mean, he's just been so gracious, and he's never ever said anything detrimental or, hey, why do you sound like me? And, it's just one of those things that you click with a, if it's a relationship, you say it's my soulmate. Mm-hmm. And with Eddie Van Halen, it was just something that, and it's not just me.
No, you're right.
It's like every guitarist for the past, 25 years. And it's just something that I didn't go purposely. I didn't try to do it purposely. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like, oh, I got to sound like Eddie Van Halen. But if I did, I wasn't going to stop myself to say, no, that sounds a little too much like Van Halen.
Right.
I mean, to him, it was, what's that expression of imitation is the
highest form of flattery.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And, but I couldn't help it. There's no way I could change it. He's just such a big part of me. And,
are you excited about this tour?
I'm excited about this tour.
The reunion with Roth that they're doing. Yeah. It's just still a little bit weird. The whole Michael Anthony thing is still weird that he's not in it. His son is playing bass, right?
Right, yeah, I've heard about that. Yeah. And it's weird because I remember one of the last times I saw Eddie was telling his little son, Wolfgang, to say hi to Vito. And I said, Eddie, I don't think he can because he was only, I think 6 months old. And,
And he's shaking the kid. No, say hi to Vito.
I know, but listen, when Eddie's talking to you, just, So, I'm picturing this little kid now on stage at the Garden playing the beginning of Running with the Devil, and it's kind of difficult, but...
he's got no love lost for Michael Anthony, which is clear. I mean, he's not letting Michael back in the band. He's calling him by his real last name, which I didn't even know up until Sobolewski or something is his real last name, because he keeps just calling him Sobolewski, and there's definitely some issues there. And then in the latest swipe at Michael Anthony that I saw in the press, and I think this news clip is up on my site, he said something about, well, what does it matter? He hasn't played on a Van Halen album in years.
Oh, wow.
Now, I never heard that one before. That was really a shot to say that wasn't Michael Anthony playing on those records. So that I don't know if he realizes the can of worms he opened, but it raised my eyebrow when I read it today online. I was like, whoa. I don't know. Maybe he did. I don't know. But he's trying to say he didn't. He goes, he's an okay bass player and all, but who cares if he's in the band? He hasn't played on records in years. And I'm like, whoa. And the one thing Michael Anthony did do, though, is the fact that, and I've said this many times, a lot of people always felt that high harmony in Van Halen.
Oh, yeah, where's the harmonies?
That's Michael Anthony, all that high stuff.
Right.
So I don't know. Again, I just wish they'd bury the hatchet and figure out a way to make that work, because you just have this one, you've waited all these years for this reunion, you've got this one weird kind of factor. And I'm sure his kid's a great musician, look at his genes, but it's just weird.
Yeah, coming from one who's been there, and I'm still going, I'm actually answering questions tonight about it. When there's a band breakup, it's an ugly thing, and I'm sure all these things that Eddie's saying are just, the hurt, some kind of hurt, something's going on, because
that Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction in a few weeks, wow, what a circus that's going to be.
Yeah, I mean...
With him standing, with Sobolewski or whatever his name is standing there after taking all this heat in the press, and it's just... And he said, he goes, there's people I don't want to play with, and I'm not going to play with them that night. So there's a lot of drama that's going to be on that stage that night. I can't wait to see how it comes off,
that's unfortunate.
Hold on, Wayne, you got to get on a mic. Nobody can hear what you're saying. What are you saying?
Will Sobolewski be there, or the guy that actually played on it?
Put the mic by your mouth, not the beer bottle when you're trying to talk. He's talking to the beer bottle and the mic's on.
Hello?
Sobolewski. He wants Sobolewski. Right, imagine at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction, they bring out, here's Jake Schmidt, the real guy who played on all the Van Halen records on bass.
Who's that?
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I bet you it was Eddie he probably played it if Michael didn't, but I don't know if this is just ugly, just more ugliness or what.
I thought all that stuff was done live, so it couldn't be Eddie.
I don't know. This is Hollywood, California. Is it Gazindra?
Jazinra.
Hi, you're live on the air. Thanks for listening.
Hi, Eddie. I love your show. Hi, Vito.
Hi, Jazinra.
Thanks.
You are the reason that I'm here in Hollywood trying to get my heavy metal band together.
Wow.
20 years ago, I saw you on TV, and I told my mother I was a real little kid. I said, that's what I'm going to be. I'm going to be a heavy metal singer so I can play with that guy.
You mean you're in Tramp's White Lion?
I know where you're coming from. I just wanted to say thank you for the music that you've given me, because it was my sanctuary when I was growing up. I had a really hard childhood, and your music really saved me. And my dad also went through a very long illness, and he eventually passed away from it.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, your guitar, you know, your playing spoke to me. It was my hero. You're my hero. So
you're not the one on that thrash metal site. That's not you.
And the funny thing is, you were talking about how Priest and Angel and how they're so different. You listen to them. Well, I listen to Children of Bodom, but I listen to you every day.
Well, see, that's what it's about. That's the whole point. It's like you don't have to draw lines in the sand. I like this, so I can't like that. You can. It's fine. It's like.